Hello everybody, Skippy Gamer here. Welcome to part 3 of my review of Undertale. Be sure to check out part 1 and part 2 of this review to get caught up. And you may see, and this video is, I am considering this video a spoiler alert for people who haven't played the game. But yeah, I consider part 1 and part 2 spoilers because of the type of game it is. Go see part 1 to know why I'm saying it this way. And there is going to be major spoilers, but I'll let you know when that comes up. Okay, here we go. Gameplay. The gameplay is so awesome! And it has some of the most creative features I have ever seen in any sort of game. Ever. Now, when you start the game for the first time ever, you have to make a name for your character. Although, I recommend that whatever name you choose for your character, you will be happy with it, no matter what. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And throughout the entire game, whichever path you choose, how many enemies you spare or kill, which kind of bosses you spare or kill, will affect the game and its ending. And the game will, somewhat, remember you, no matter what you do. Even if you go back and reset the game, they will still remember. Although, not everyone will remember you, so you can do things differently. To this. Prove yourself. Prove to me you are strong enough to survive. I found this feature to be very cool and creative. And this whole reason is why I said earlier that whatever name you choose, you'd better be happy with it no matter what. Because you can't change it at all. Even if you reset the game, you cannot change your name at all. It's locked. You cannot change it. Although, after I finished the pacifist ending, the best ending, it did give me an option to do a true reset. Which I did look it up, and you do get to change your name, which leaves me to believe that you can make the whole thing start over, with no one, and I mean no one, will remember you at all. Which is good, because now I can play the game again, privately, with my real name. Anyways, back to the gameplay. In this game, you control your character in a Earthbound sort of fashion, with some differences. You can talk to people, interact with objects, and more. And it is done really well. There is auto battles in this game. Although, I found out online that as you keep sparing and or killing enemies, enemy encounter rates in specific areas does decrease. Which in turn will make enemy encounters appear less and less, which in turn will make it feel like there are no auto spawns at all. Which made exploring places much more enjoyable than Final Fantasy VI, or any other RPG with autospawns I have ever played. I know, it is! Although, I think this feature will depend on what route you take. But either way, I love this feature! I'd never thought I'd play a game where autospawns are balanced so well that I actually enjoy exploring autospawn areas. It's so much fun! I love it so much! Good work, Toby Fox. Good work. Good work, Toby Fox. You made a long dream of mine come true. Good work, man. In my previous review, I stated that there were puzzles in the ruins, and I did assume that I will only see puzzles in the ruins and nowhere else in the game, but I was wrong. Throughout this game, you will encounter puzzles in a lot of places, and how they are handled are very cool too. Even how they are presented to you could sometimes get very funny. One of these puzzles are a cool color maze. Now, the skeleton papyrus will teach you all the effects of the puzzle, and how to pass the maze. But I will warn you, this is very complicated when explained. But when the puzzle started, it made a straight line as to indicate that the puzzle broke or something. The funny thing is that later on in the game, we get forced into many life or death shows by a killer robot, which I mentioned earlier, and one of the puzzles you have to do is the same color puzzle from before. Better yet, the killer robot assumes you know how it works, so it sends you on your way, but you don't know because you've forgotten all about it. And there was one puzzle at the beginning of the game where Toriel will actually help you get past the puzzle because of how dangerous it is. Which created a very touching moment that made her one of my favorite characters in gaming, ever. One other puzzle I will mention is this one. Now, I didn't fully grasp the main idea of the puzzle, and I assumed you have to move the blocks to clear them out or something. Just some idea that wasn't what the puzzle was about. At the first puzzle I did, I was so confused on what to do, I actually said, and I quote, "Whose brains was it that came up with this puzzle?" No, seriously, I actually said those exact words. Although, I did figure out that the main idea of the puzzle was to move the blocks in a certain way, so you can shoot the arrow at the top. Which, when I figured out, I really had fun with this puzzle. It is one of my favorite puzzles in the game now. There are plenty of puzzles in the game, but I will stop explaining them there. In battle, you have a choice between killing enemies or sparing them. Though it is easier to kill certain enemies, it is preferred that you spare all enemies and bosses in order to get the best ending, aka the pacifist ending. To kill a specific enemy, you have to press the fight button, and you have to press Z just the right timing in this oval shape, so you will be able to attack. You will get other weapons, which will help you out if you like killing the enemies in this game. Some of the weapons will have you pressing X on 3 lines to attack, or maybe pressing it a couple more times for like a double attack or something in one full slice or something like that, etc. Although, to spare an enemy, you have to go to Act, then you do one of the actions so you can convince the enemy to spare you. The easiest way to know if you can spare the enemies is if you see their names lit up in yellow instead of white. And once you do, you can go to the mercy option and hit spare. Although in certain boss fights, you just have to keep pressing the spare button even though the enemy's name is lit up in yellow or not. Although the other boss fights has special ways to spare them. Like, there's one boss fight that, if after a while you have to run from the fight and keep running away, until you come to a specific point in the area. In battle, you can also access items that you can either use to restore your health, or equip for defense, or attack items. You can only equip one item at a time, so choose wisely. In the Mercy option, you can either spare or flee, which means run from battle. And when you do, there will be times where your character will say some funny excuse for running away, which is pretty funny. Although, with all this in mind, the way battles work in this game kind of reminds me of the old-fashioned RPG games like Dragons and Dungeons. Not the board game, not the computer game, but the aspect of using dices and making your own world and such. I know this because I have been doing it with a couple of friends of mine for the past few weeks, and it's pretty fun. I recommend doing it sometime, it's pretty cool. Whenever an enemy attacks, it becomes a bullet hell game, which you can use the arrow keys to move your soul around, dodging projectiles. Although, there are more to the projectiles than just dodging them. Some projectiles will be handled differently, based on what the enemy is, their mood, and if there are more than one on the screen, you will see double attacks. Depending on their mood, an enemy may not attack you during the enemy's turn, which I found was very interesting. And there are times where the projectiles will either be blue, orange, or green. To dodge the brown projectiles, you have to be moving while they pass you by, which is cool. The green projectiles will heal you, and you may need to touch them even whether you need them or not, because some enemies require you touching them, the green ones, to get them to spare you. Easy. Just don't move. No, literally, don't move. There will be times where the color of your soul will change in certain boss battles. Like, for one, when you fight Papyrus, your soul turns blue. When that happens, your soul is controlled like a Mario platformer game. And in order to jump, you have to press and hold the up key. In another boss fight, your soul turns green. When that happens, you have to deflect incoming arrow projectiles that will attack you, which makes you feel like you're blocking your enemy's sword attacks. The other two I will mention briefly is that when you turn yellow, the fight becomes a Space Invaders game sort of fight, which is cool. And when you turn purple, it becomes... I don't really know how to explain it. Well, the footage you see right now is actually self-explanatory. Another thing I want to bring up is something I was curious about in my previous review that I mentioned, which was if how to get to the best ending in the game was as complicated as Cave Story, or is it simple? Well, after some time to think, and some video viewing, I concluded that it is complicated, to a certain degree. I will explain why, but I must warn you, I will be spoiling the natural, and most likely, the pacifist ending, aka the normal and best endings. So if you don't want to get spoiled, skip here now. You still here? Okay, let's get to it. The most important steps in getting the pacifist ending is spare every single enemy you encounter, including the bosses. Which means if you kill one enemy, just one enemy, you lost it. and you're stuck with a natural ending until you finish the path to the natural ending. Or you can reset the file, whichever one. But one other important step, which is extremely important, is that after you fight the final boss in the natural ending, which is Omega Flowey, you will be given a choice of either to kill him or to spare him. But to get the pacifist ending, you have to show him mercy, no matter what. And I do mean no matter what. Well, there are two reasons. One, he's plot relevant to the pacifist route. Second, if you kill him in this route, you cannot bring him back. Even if you reset the game, he will still be dead forever. Which means your chances of getting the best ending will be lost as well. Though, I think if you go into the Undertale folder, you can make an adjustment to make the game bring Flowey back to life, as if that death thing never happened. But I really don't know, because I never found any tutorial video on how to exactly do it. But I think it's possible. Due to the fact that I've seen it done before, but not for this situation, for something different. So yeah. Now, this is the main reason on why I think it's as complicated as how to get the best ending of Cave Story. As in, unable to know what to do blindly. Because this particular final boss will make people want to kill Flowey the first chance they get without any hesitation. From someone who played this blindly. Although, if someone were to tell someone, or give a hint, or look on YouTube on what to do in that point to get the best ending, then they will get to the courage to spare him, to get the best ending in their grasp. Like I did. So, based on that fact, I can conclude that to get the best ending, you may or may not have to look at a guide, or have a friend tell you a hint in their own way on how to do it without spoiling it. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I just hate that to get the best ending in the game, it has to be this one complicated process that no one could figure out the first time. I'm sorry, I just hate this kind of feature, and I just wish Toby Fox didn't make it this complicated. Like, make one mistake in this part, and it'll be out of your reach forever. So yeah, this is one big issue I had with the game. Another cool feature is a mode called joystick configuration. If you have a gamepad, joystick, or any controller that can connect to your computer, you can set up the controls for that controller. It will save the settings even if you play without the controller for one day. The cool part about this is that when you test the controller, you control a circle-like thing around like you would for your main character. And it does test if your buttons that are replacing the keyboard are working, which I found to be very helpful when compared to other games that test your controls in the past. Out of all of them, I found this pretty helpful. The controls work smoothly too, not a single bit of lag in the game. Throughout my experience in playing this game, I played with only the gamepad, not the keyboard, which was pretty smooth. I did try with the keyboard, and it was hard for me because my arrow keys on my laptop are tiny, so it was hard to control in battle. So I gave up really fast. But I am sure it will work for you. This review has been going on for a while, so I will mention a couple more things as best I can. There are some hotels or people that will ask you for money, but then, when you are done using their inn or ride, they will give you back your money. I did find this feature odd, but it's cool. It's a cool feature nonetheless. You can also talk to shop owners for some information about the underground, or for a compliment, or other stuff, which is nice. There probably is more I could mention here, but I will stop there because the video is taking too long. But there are many more features to this game, even secrets, that I probably don't even know about, that make this game awesome. So I recommend checking it out on your own. Wrapping everything up, this is the best game I have ever played. Everything in this game is so well crafted, I am shocked that someone even managed to pull it off. The story is awesome and will make you cry. The gameplay is fun, and so much more. Other than the downsides I mentioned in graphics, this is the best game to be released this year. And you bet I will be playing this game over and over and over again until I get bored of it. I am so glad I heard about this game, and I am so glad I got to try this game as blindly as I possibly could. Though I don't think it's a perfect game, it's just one of my all-time favorites. And just because I like this game so much, doesn't mean I will like this game above all other games in the future. I mean, there will be a game out there that will, in fact, surpass my enjoyment over this game somehow. But either way, I like this game. And even if another game should come to surpass my enjoyment of this game, I will still enjoy playing this game above all else, and to tell the whole world about how much I love this game. I'd like to give a huge thanks to both YouTube users Balrog and my very good friend, The Goodgis Life, for mentioning this game in your channels. I would have never gotten to know this game if you guys hadn't mentioned it. So, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. With everything I said and more, I decided to give gameplay 5 stars. I never thought I'd see the day that I'd give a game this kind of score so soon in this channel, but with everything I said and more, I decided to give this entire game 5 stars with a platinum medal. And I recommend this game to people who like old-time RPGs, people who love incredible stories, and for people who want a great gaming experience like no other. The review is done. Another one done. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I did mean everything I said in that review. I guess somewhat. But anyways, and I do recommend it.
A lot of people should play this game. It's a great, great game. Despite the stuff I mentioned in graphics. But that's kind of no big deal. Well, they are big deals. I mean, I wish they weren't in those games. You know what? Never mind. That's discussion for another day. Did you like how this video turned out, guys? Good. Well, to tell you the truth, I really wish I did better on it. 'Cause I had this one idea, like, before I give my final thoughts on it, like, after I'm done explaining the gameplay. Like, before I fully score my gameplay score, I always say what I think of the game all in all. Yeah, I was thinking of something dramatic happened there. I was thinking of, like, me referencing a lot of YouTubers in that review about what I heard about, even a website, believe it or not. Other than those two other YouTubers I mentioned earlier. But, well, I could have made some of it work, but for some of them, I really actually... Some of the ideas I had to make it special was download the music online of this entire game and just place it in like I would in my commentary, place it anywhere. But I never did that cuz you know, if people could download music online, but if they use it on YouTube, they gotta be very cautious on if the person is okay with you using it or not. Even if you go on websites that have you use music for free or anything like that, I hear people get a lot of copyright claims for that, I think. So I guess I put the kibosh on the music stuff because I wanted to be cautious because I really don't want to be hit with a copyright claim. No one ever does. And it's happened many times. Many times. Okay, so... But despite that, I am thinking of looking into this and maybe applying music to my reviews, possibly other stuff. And if I ever get better at my reviews, like maybe become more like Balrog, the YouTuber I mentioned, like at the end of the review. If I become more like him or more advanced like him, I may do a remake of this review, but more advanced, but keep the same script. Or maybe I'll do a new script. Ow, my hand. Maybe I'll do another script of it, or you know what? That's something in the future. I'm just glad this is done for now, so I could go on to other games. Cause there's, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but there's a project I really like to get started on, and I think I should get started right away. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like what you saw today, be sure to like the video. If you like the channel you saw today, be sure to subscribe to my channel. When you comment, no swearing in the comments. Tell friends and family about this channel. Get this game. I encourage you to get it. It's a great game. And I will see you guys next time. Okay, see you next time, everybody.